Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
Freak, the funk, freak, the funk. That's a Tribe Called Quest. This is Story Route 0, episode number 40. We got a game club this week. My name is Matthew Keel. I've got three chuckleheads and a guest with me this week. I'm going to start with the guest from Make Me a Gamer podcast. TMan, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here.
Happy to have you. So for people who don't know what Make Me a Gamer is, he performs psychological experiments on his friend Harvey and makes him play video games, and the results are hilarious. And if anybody's watching the video, I have my own version of Cerberus in my lap, who's leaving now. That's Bagel. Bye, Bagel. Also in tow, we're gonna get to you more in a second, T-Man. My co-hosts, transplant mass hole herself, Michaela Crishone. How are you?
I'm all right. It's Monday level good.
You delivered some bad news before the start of the show.
I did, because I don't remember. I haven't slept.
Apparently, we're not going to be getting sexy time on the podcast anymore.
Oh, yes, my upstairs neighbors look out. There will be no more mysterious banging and loud laughter in the middle of the No more sexy time.
All right, then.
That's a great introduction to this. Cool.
So happy to have you, T-Man. Mouth in the South, Moose Klool, how are you?
Doing well.
Now, I'm just going to say this. You and T-Man kind of share some common lineage because one of his parents is from where you're from. So obviously you guys know each other. No, that's not true at all.
No, we're not. No, I'm not from that part of the country.
That's not how that goes.
This is the section of the podcast where Moose says, "I'm not a Southerner."
Exactly. It's the mouth in the South, not the mouth from the South. I'm not from the South.
Don't worry. The game we're about to talk about has plenty of.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And
I mean, it's what happens when Zeus likes to stick his dick in everything.
Sure. So representing Jersey, he taught me something interesting this weekend. So Jason, what is the deal with atheism that you taught me?
It's a non-profit organization. Boom.
Oh, Michaela's numb to it all already. Okay, great. So this
she's like coasting on those Monday fumes of just like it was a bad day.
I've got about 2 hours of solid sleep. Anything you say might just go right over me today.
She's
that's not just because you're 5'2". Boom.
As if the Minotaur calling you short in the game isn't enough. Now I have to come
that's
here.
True.
Yeah, that is
that's
true.
true.
Well, I mean, the Minotaur is what, like 10 feet tall?
Yeah.
Man, cut me some slack.
So, bringing it back, this is Story Route 0. This week is a game club this week. We called an audible in our game club this month. We were going to do Sleeping Dogs, but then we all fell in love with Hades from Supergiant Games. So we're going to talk about that this week. But also, T-Man, tell us about yourself. You just got here. You've already gotten a weird introduction to all of us. So here we are.
I don't know where to start. Like, what kind of introduction do you want? Do you want to know what I play?
Sure.
I
mean, you play games. You have a Twitch.
Yeah.
You write.
I do all those
you
things.
You have a podcast.
Yeah. I host Make Me a Gamer, which is art you already talked about, where I just basically talk about things with my friend who doesn't really play games as much as I do. And it's nice to get his opinion on different things. For example, when I introduced him to The Witcher, he thought that meant a really cool pilgrim. I don't know how that came together in his head, something about Salem witch trials and thinking the pilgrims did that. So there's that.
You know what? I could see that. I could see that. But continue, sorry.
No, his brain really makes my brain twitch sometimes, so it's all good. I do reviews on my TManWrites.com website occasionally on different games that I've been playing. I try to keep them positive. I don't usually like going negative about things. I like to keep things upbeat.
Sure.
And I very, very occasionally stream on Twitch. I used to a lot more, and then, life happened, and so I just sort of pop on whenever I can. And I pretty much play a little bit of everything. I tend to like tactics games and RPGs and roguelikes, which is why I'm kind of on this podcast guesting today, because I love Hades, and I've been playing it nonstop for like the last 2 weeks.
Yes, you have. And you've been putting me to shame, and it's been making me jealous, but respect nonetheless. Okay, so before we get to Hades this week, how was everybody's weekend? T-Man, you're the guest. You go first. Just in general, nothing game related. Just.
It was good. I got out for like 15 minutes because I went to a friend's wedding, and it was like a very nice socially distant wedding. Like, it was literally, we drove an hour out for the 15-minute ceremony, took like pictures where everyone was spread apart from each other and everyone was wearing masks, and then we drove an hour back. But it was nice to actually see people not through a Zoom screen for once. But yeah, that was the big event that happened this weekend for me, so it was nice.
Okay. All right. Michaela, let's go to you. How was your weekend?
It was all right. I did not watch any football, strangely enough. But
are you okay? You're really not okay. Like,
I'm
Monday
not
wasn't
okay.
good. You did
That's
not
the
watch
first
any
thing.
football.
I come on the podcast and it's like, are you okay? Something looks wrong. Are you?
I'm just concerned about my friend. I don't know what you want.
You know how some people have resting bitch face? I've been told I have resting sad face. So, but no, I didn't watch any football this weekend because, well, in part because I prioritized my roommate. So we cleaned this apartment to do our final spray of the year. Every couple months we spray and pray that we kill the centipedes. So we did that for the final one before winter. And went out, and my roommate's birthday is this week, so went out, took her to dinner, had a nice steak dinner, and then instead of watching the Clemson game, I watched a movie with her, Hocus Pocus, because it's Halloween and she's all about that stuff. So
Hocus Pocus rules. I love that movie.
Yes, so mostly cleaned, spent the time with the roommate, and worked out.
Nice.
Cool. Jason, how about you?
Relaxing. Watched the 7th episode of The Boys. Next week's the finale for season 2. Didn't really do anything with the girls. Finished a review, threw a terrible pun in there to annoy Michaela for no reason at all.
Can't she edit it out? Just
I think
throwing it out there.
I still have to read it first before I could edit it out. So he wins either way.
That's true. That's true.
That is true.
What'd you review, Jason?
Fury Unleashed.
Okay.
Oh, nice. I've seen you've been playing that.
Roguelike Contra Metal Slug game.
Nice.
Roguelikes. Tend to play a lot of them.
That's your 2020, man.
I should pick a
I've enjoyed watching you
non-roguelike.
blossom into this roguelike machine. It's been kind of cool to see.
Watch some football. I wish I didn't, because the Giants are just trash.
The Giants.
Hey, the Eagles are at the top of the division at 1-2-1.
Hey, at least
That's
you're not
just
having to
gross.
root for the Washington football team, right?
Oh my god! I know, like, they don't even have a name. I was sitting in a PSN chat. My buddy was like, "Yeah, they're the Washington football team right now." And I'm like, "Are you like shitting me? Like, are you
No,
like?"
that's
and he's like, "No, that's actually what they're called." And I'm like, "They should keep it. That would be freaking amazing. Just keep it."
like just yeah. So I think they should too. Just like, man, I go football team. I might become no, I won't become a fan.
Don't.
I-
It's just pain.
No, Dan Snyder's an ass. So
Yeah,
you know,
like
you know what
until
I mean.
Dan
True.
Snyder is gone, please don't root for them.
Well,
you
I'm a
could-
sad Bears fan, so it's kind of like, do I want to get one sadness for anger? I think I'd rather stick with my sadness.
I'm a sad New England fan. This
What's
whole year.
great
Y'all deserve
about
to burn in hell.
Oh,
Ooh.
6 Super Bowls recently. Oh, so sad.
Oh yeah, and half our team is gone, and now Cam freaking Newton has freaking COVID and can't play.
I remember, well,
He got COVID the week we're playing the Chiefs too, which is like a difficult whatever.
yeah.
That is the world's smallest violin playing just for the New England states.
Get him. Get him.
You know what's great about the Washington football team though? Even if you're not a football fan, you can now just walk into and go, "Yay, football!" And are you being sarcastic? Are you being sincere? Nobody knows. Notre Dame was off again, yet stayed number 5 because a bunch of teams lost. So it's a bonus.
Yeah.
Cool. How are the girls?
Good, crazy, psychotic,
Yeah.
permanent gremlin state.
Cool.
It'll be a while before they grow out of that, so you'll be stuck with it for a while.
Yeah.
But you did do it to yourself.
It's true.
Swinging it. Moose.
All right.
How was your weekend?
It was good.
Yeah.
Played a lot of video games. Saturday, had to work Sunday, and then got to play some more video games with a buddy of mine. But all in all, it was a pretty uneventful weekend as far as like doing too much, you know. Like,
Yeah.
we cleaned up around the house. It's getting into fall, so we're cleaning the kitchen and stocking up on food for the next couple weeks just to have stuff to make, and that was pretty much it. I mowed the lawn, which I hope hopefully I'll be able to go to like every other week now instead of like every week like I normally do, and then it'll be like leaf time. I have this little lull before the leaves start falling because I have 2 huge maple trees in my front yard and then one in my backyard by my driveway. It is just
It's an autumn blizzard all over your property.
yeah. So, but anyways, gonna get the leaf blower going this year, and the good thing is I can just blow it out to the road, and then they come by with the trucks that have the big giant tubes that just suck up the leaves, and then they drive off, and I'm like, I need that for my yard. Like, I just need to, you know, like larger than just a backpack thing or something. So, but anyways, yeah. So it was a pretty good weekend.
Cool. So burnout hit this house pretty heavy last week. Both of us in healthcare, on top of adoption stuff, also on top of a whole bunch of things I can't actually go into because there might be legal proceedings, so I can't really talk about it. Luckily, neither of us did it. So
If the
that
glove
was
fits, you must have quit.
really, we're gonna do 35-year-old, OJ jokes now. Really?
Are you surprised though?
I mean, really, I'm not. I'm not. You're right. But the two games I am going to break the rules and talk about are Reba and I. We co-opt more Guacamelee. We are almost to the end of it, and I was able to do a bunch of Remnant from the Ashes with TMan here and our buddy Julian, and we got them the particle accelerator. What are we? Michaela thought I was gonna dig at her, didn't she?
Started slowly sliding off screen.
No, you know what? It's not your time to be poked at, Michaela. Not now. Maybe later, but not now.
In about 5 minutes.
Sure. Michaela of memory here. So we played some Remnant. We got them the particle accelerator, and so I learned something, Jason. If you have the particle accelerator fully upgraded like you and I do, Claviger doesn't exist.
I was like all hyped to fight this boss, and then he just fires the particle accelerator like secondary mod thing, and the boss just goes away. Like, it was dead.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, so you guys get the ads, so as long as he doesn't absorb the ads.
Well, were you on your main?
Yeah.
Were you in their game?
I was in Julian's game, yeah.
And what level is Julian?
50 something? Is that what he said, T-Man?
Yeah, I think he's in his 50s.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You're kind of like wrecking shop.
That's like when I
we died a few times. All three of us did. So I'm not.
Well, I think like a death or two is like given for you because you're Leroy Jenkins. So even if you're like OP,
fair. Yes.
like running in there helping people, like you're gonna trip over your own foot and just fall into a bed of spikes and die. Like, you know, like that's like.
Speaking of a bed of spikes, we found a boss that I've never seen before.
Which one?
I forgot what he was called, but I believe you looked it up while I was in the middle of it.
It was
T-Man,
like
and it was
barbed something, I think.
Yeah.
I think the area was thrown of barbs, and then it was like the barbed menace or the barbed crazy thing.
So you remember Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, Mos Eisley Cantina, the band? So this guy looks like a blue version of that, but instead of two big eyes, it's a bunch of little ones all over the forehead. And he's basically shooting quills at everybody at intervals. And I was able. It's a very tight arena. It was one of those things that, like, I think you were really astute, T-Man, when you said this makes a better solo boss than a multiplayer boss.
There was way too much going on for
at
3
once,
people. Yeah.
But we did that. We fought the butcher. Did we fight anybody else after the butcher?
I thought we did. I thought we fought something else, and that's where we ended it. And I can't remember what we fought.
Yeah, I remember fighting the butcher, and I remember staying a little bit longer, but I just don't remember what we found the bug lady and then moved on, and then that's where we're at. So we're in.
We didn't get to the beast yet.
No,
we fought something else.
No, we fought something on our way
we fought
to
the
beast.
barbs. That's what we were fighting.
Oh,
we were talking about.
Okay, but yeah, so we did that. That was fun, and I like that. I like going back to that game, and yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it, especially if people are willing to co-op. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Michaela.
Downloaded it.
Finally,
it's on the machine,
when you hear
ladies and gentlemen.
Right now,
we're one step closer.
So,
working on it.
Oh, the Barb Terror. It was added in the Swamps of Corsus DLC. That's why we didn't face them when we originally did it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Well, we got the mod, and it's kind of cool. But what do you say, Jason? What do you say we take us to Hades?
Sounds like a plan.
Cool.
Story Route Zero Game Club. Spoiler warning. Hot takes. Bad takes. Much discussion.
That's right. It's Game Club time here on Story Route Zero. We've played a game. We've beat a game. Now let's talk about it.
Hades was made by a small studio that none of us have ever? No. Supergiant Games. Anyone?
I think they've
Familiar?
broken at least one of our podcasts just by us throwing praise at them.
My dirty little secret, I've only played one other Supergiant game.
What?
Bastion.
Transistor.
Yeah, he's
What?
played
Oh,
Bastion.
you have
He's
played
not played
Bastion? Okay.
Transistor.
Bastion is
I know that.
not that any
Okay.
of them are not great, but Bastion's my least favorite of the four.
Shut your whore mouth.
Hades was released in early access in 2018 on PC, the Epic Game Store, and it was recently released everywhere else September 18th of this year.
Yes.
So it was a decently long exclusive period with a pretty
Exclusive
lengthy
to
early
early.
access.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, it is only available on the Switch. No PS4 or Xbox yet.
Yeah. Or it's still on. It's
And it is on
1.0
Epic
on
and
PC.
Steam. So
I
It's
found
on
it highly
Epic and-
unlikely it'll go to PS4.
Yeah, it's on Epic and Steam.
yeah,
I played,
I'm sure it will.
I'm sure it'll go
I
to.
want to say
I
Bastion's
played.
the only one on Xbox.
I played on PC. Everyone else was on Switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
T-Man, Switch.
Yeah.
I knew you were on.
I'm on Switch.
I'm on Switch. Yeah.
It is a roguelike. We are familiar with those on this show.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
You play as Zagreus, the son of Hades, and spoilers going forward. If you haven't
Yes.
listened to a game club, we do spoilers. The son of Persephone, or Nyx if you're early, but spoiler,
Yeah.
it's not Nyx.
Nope, it's not.
Basic roguelike dungeon crawler, though. I mean, not to minimize it, but you're sent to the underworld. You have to work your way. You have to escape. And the game actually tracks your escape attempts. You are literally trying to escape from Hades and make it to the world of the mortal world. And
Which, if you know your mythology, this is Greece.
as you go through, you will encounter several underworld gods and Mount Olympus gods and other kind folk willing to help you. In fact, everyone wants to help you beat Hades. Pretty much, almost everyone. But they're all kind of like, nah, we'll help you. Here. Here's a power. Here's my power. Here's my power.
And they
As you
fight
go
over
through, as you go through,
That's true.
like every standard roguelike, you collect a million things. I mean, really, there are a lot of the currency to keep track of as you go through to collect. You die, you go back to Hades' court, so to speak, where then you can upgrade and try again.
Yeah.
So everyone's beaten the game, as in killed Hades.
Yes.
We put quotes.
Now, I actually, right before we started recording, got the ending, the true ending. Did anyone else get to that point?
I have.
T-Man did. How many? It took me 12 escapes. Do you know what you were at?
Well, I think I was at 10 when I got the credits.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if there's more ending beyond that, but that is as far as I've gotten in terms of story.
So what I've read around the true is it's random. It's not necessarily tied to that number.
Interesting.
I read something about how many bounties you have, how many times you escape. So it's obviously, I hit it at 12, you hit it at 10. I don't know if you have to unlock certain things during the runs.
Yeah. I had beaten it once with each weapon and then a couple times with heat levels. So I don't know if that might be a part of it too. Like
But that might randomize it, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that there's no. I actually looked. I can't find any concrete route to get to this true ending. But for the three of you, we won't spoil the exact ending. But every time you beat Hades, you meet Persephone, and there's more story.
Mhm.
And I thought it was cool that the game implements that you're getting sent back and everyone acknowledges that you're trying again. Like it's not like some like oh, just restart. Like they actually acknowledge like as soon as you come out of the pool of blood, Hypnos, it's like, huh, you died again. Welcome back.
Who got you this time?
Yeah.
Anyone want to speak on the basic gameplay loop before we
Well, for me, like I like roguelikes, but I really like Hades' plurals are
Yes,
weird.
Yeah.
plurals and
Sometimes
apostrophes.
that works. Just throw just 80s.
Do it like Chris Tucker from Fifth Element. Just Hades.
Okay. Hades' gameplay loop actually integrates the story into the roguelike, where a lot of roguelikes, is very focused on the gameplay and the story doesn't really come into play. And the fact that every time you return, you have people to talk to and new information on top of like adding to your next gameplay loop really makes it more compelling because you're like, oh, I want to see what Hypnos has to say, or oh, Achilles, what he's going to say this time. And
Mhm.
that makes it a lot more satisfying, adds another layer to the gameplay loop.
Yeah, I mean, I would go as far as a lot of roguelikes, the story doesn't even register in some case. You're playing so many loops that at that
Right.
point,
I was
It's
gonna
the
say like
setting more than anything.
it's very minimalistic when it comes to like storytelling for other roguelikes, and whereas in Hades it's like every time you die, all right, and not that it's like a chore.
Right.
Like you're like, I'm ready to get back into it. So the gameplay is great to that end, and it's like I want to get back into it and start again, but I really want to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And then like even to like so like the game will be like you'll develop little tidbits of the story from certain people and their perspective with the NPCs, but also sometimes they're not there because they're out doing whatever they're doing. And so you're like, shit, I really want to see what he had to say about what we talked about last time. Well, now I got to go run again and hope that he's there when I come back the next time, And so it's just God
damn it,
really
Achilles,
cool.
where were you?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask you about your friend in Elysium, and you ain't there. What's going on?
yeah, I mean, Hypnos is always there. Hades is almost always there.
Hypnos and Hades are the two most common, but they're
Hades
not. I've had
leave.
plenty of times where Hypnos isn't there.
Yeah, I've had
Hades does.
somewhere Hypnos is
Hades
not
leaves
Nyx.
on the 9th or so run. At some point in the story, he just pieces out. He's just not there.
Yeah.
But I like when he is there and you don't interact with him. He's yelling, next, and you see the spirits just marching.
Yeah.
But that character-driven and story-driven replay factor is exactly what Supergiant wanted to achieve with this game, and it's part of the reason why they made a roguelike, is because, I think, I forget exactly where I read this, what they had been hoping for with Pyre was to get that replayability because there's so many different story factors in Pyre and different endings for individual characters, never mind the entire story itself.
Yeah.
But they found that not enough people were replaying Pyre to get those different endings. And I forget where I read this. Hades is the formula that they were really looking for. So the fact that that's the feedback that we're giving as a consensus on the podcast shows that they hit a home run with this one. Because story character is always at the heart of their games, regardless of what genre they fall into. And this is the first fully voice acted one, which is another interesting aspect to it. And their character art has gone to a new level, fleshed out. Like I showed you, even the difference between early access and now. and that's not to say Pyre didn't have strength of character. It absolutely did, even
Oh,
though
yes,
it had
it
like the
did.
gobbledygook voices. But it just shows the growth of the studio because they achieved their aims essentially with this, because it is a highly replayable game. And if I were to write an article about this, which I've been thinking about, the lesson that other roguelikes stand to learn from this is the fact that the story isn't just the background setting of the game, it's the driving heart of it.
Well, on that note, just I think the one story roguelikes always tend to have isn't a narrative, it's emergent. The one thing that's always fascinated me about roguelikes is usually it's kind of what I was it's one of the reasons that, you know, after the last podcast several of us had was why I wanted to do this one, because I like talking about just gameplay sessions. And like I've had plenty of roguelike experiences where I could talk about the story of my run, and that would be more interesting than what the story of the game is. Like Binding of Isaac has several endings. All of them are they're kind of elusive and they allude to a narrative, but it's not concrete. Rogue Legacy is the story of a family line, but it's kind of like they're kind of doing the Crusader Kings thing, but because you don't sit very long with any of those characters, it doesn't really hit. Children of Morta does a family narrative that comes pretty close to what Supergiant's doing here and what they did in Pyre, but ultimately, like, I mean, I don't know if I started out to refute or echo, but a lot of that is taking an emergent formula and making a narrative out of that. And while the possibility has always been there, like if you follow like Tanya X Short of Kit Fox Games, like she does emergent storytelling really well, and she's worked, I mean, that's probably why her studio is publishing Dwarf Fortress, because that is nothing but emergent storytelling out of a management sim of all things. But I think that the fact that a tiny studio that set out to make weird variants on strategy games hit a roguelike story that is as rewarding as just unlocking new weapons in Dead Cells, or unlocking the fact that they were able to reward the player with narrative, despite progress it took from roguelikes before and how much it points the way to a possible future, especially in a genre that I'm pretty sure all of us have that person who's like, I don't want something where I start a game and then die and then end up back where I started because I've wasted my time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely have that problem with roguelikes personally. I don't play as many of them, I think, as you guys do, but I do love games like Darkest Dungeon. I very much enjoyed, Slay the Spire. Literally just played that this summer. Already forgetting the name.
You
But
are
I do
all
tend
watching Michaela fall apart on the podcast.
I know, I'm just, I am melting today.
You're exhausted. It's okay. It's all right. We're here with you. It's fine. It's fine.
My short-term memory is fried. But also, I just wanted to clarify a little bit the point I was talking about with the narrative that maybe not other roguelites achieve.
Yeah, I think I lost the plot, so please do. Sorry.
Yeah. I think the constant reward of getting narrative as well as, mechanical and game progression on each run, even if you don't make it through, is one thing, but the replay factor is specifically something they were chasing. Mm-hmm. So each run gives you additional story is also what I was talking about. Like, not necessarily other roguelikes. If you beat it 7 times, you don't get 7 additional pieces of information when you beat it.
Sure. Sometimes you might not even get another type of reward, like instantly when you come back. It might be something you're building towards, like unlocking another weapon. So the story is the reward, and then you go back and you're like, let's try another run, and maybe you come back and you get that, you know, 8th key that you need to unlock the last weapon. And so therefore they do a great, the story reward fills the gaps really well on your actual gameplay rewards. You know what I mean? So like I think I had like 3 or 4 runs where I didn't get any gameplay rewards. I wasn't really getting stronger, but I was getting better at the game. And then, but I was enjoying the story. And so the story for me was the reward. And also, I mean, it doesn't hurt that their gameplay is a lot of fun, you know? So so they do a great job of, here's a little story, here's some gameplay, here's some story, you know, as far as the rewards go, so that it keeps you interested instead of just being like, here's nothing but story, but you're not really progressing gameplay wise. And you're like, well, I'm not making any progress and I'm banging my head against the wall. I'm just going to quit, you know? So I think they did a really great job at balancing that.
Agreed.
The gameplay loop, there are actually multiple, like you could just focus on, I'm gonna beat Hades, let me get through. But you could also, all right, I need more keys. Like I got to, so in Zagreus's bedroom, you can look at your mirror and what, Greek god be in vain? No. The more keys you have, the more I guess personal upgrades you can get, like health and like armor. And
you mean darkness? I think you mean darkness.
Well, you need the keys.
Darkness is the currency.
Darkness upgrades them, but you need 5 keys to unlock 2 more slots, 10 keys, 20, 30.
Oh yeah, okay, now all right, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
The way they set it up, you can focus your run on just keys. Like, yes, it's somewhat random, but you have an opportunity. Like, there's all those branching paths, and you could always choose the key. And then later in the game, you get that. I don't know if you guys got it. There's an upgrade where you can alter the door. For currency, so you could keep altering until you get a key drop. So it's like you could focus just on gems or just darkness on a run, and it's nice that you can kind of set goals for your
quote unquote farm.
You could farm, but you set goals for that particular run. Like obviously you want to escape every time, but you can set like I'm just gonna go for, because the farming doesn't necessarily affect your run, because you could only go for keys and still beat the run. You can only go for darkness. So that was kind of cool how they gave you that option every time.
Yeah, that's true.
So each run, while different, there's only a set amount of bosses. And there's mini bosses, and then each level. So you have Underworld, Asphodel, Elysium, and then
Styx.
It took me like 7 runs before Megara did not become the first boss.
Yeah, I'd say about the
Her
same amount.
sisters, and I was like, who the hell is that? And then, at one point, all 3 of them were there, and I'm like,
yeah, I know, I saw that. I was like, I'm bouncing.
Wait, what?
All 3 of them are in the room, like, talking to you. And then, 2 of them just disappear, and you take on one of them randomly.
Yeah, Megara, Alecto, and
Tisiphone Furies.
Yeah.
Tisiphone's a fucking freak.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, as you play, everyone's sort of friendly to Zagreus. Meg hates your fucking face the whole time.
But she's great.
No.
Yeah, no,
I don't think
yes.
she does. I think she hates you. Like she likes you, but she hates you.
She's on your side, but she can't let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there like some ex-girlfriend energy there?
You know, a little bit. I'm thinking like she likes ex-girlfriend energy with like a, we could get back together, but I hate that I know we might get back together. You know what I mean?
She doesn't want to kill you, but she does enjoy it a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
See. Yeah. Yeah.
And she definitely doesn't like it when she loses.
No,
No.
she does not.
No, she does not.
And then
No,
when you
she
give
does
her
not.
when you give her nectar, she's like pissed at you, and she's like,
Yeah.
I'm calling
He's
the
like, I'll
cops.
take this and confiscate this.
I'm
I'm glad you gave it to
Not
me.
pissed at you.
Yeah. It's like, when are you not mad at me? Like, come on, you know? Like,
Yeah, I love you get there and you're like, ugh, again, murder.
yeah. Yeah.
That's the worst one with the shrinking room.
But see, that's what
Yeah.
I liked about it. So, like, even though you're going to meet the same type of bosses, they changed that up in the Hydra. I really haven't noticed the fourth boss or the third boss changing.
I don't
that
think they
much.
changed.
So-
They
They
just
changed
They don't
it.
change.
The only thing that changes with the third boss is what god he summons to help him.
Yeah.
And that's always a god that you don't have currently in like your arsenal.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
I think that's the only change.
Okay, see, now that would be a change. I mean, and like as you get into the runs, the first couple runs, it's one guy, then it's two, then it might be one guy again, then it's like two, and then like now I'm just like two every time, and I'm like, I fucking hate you guys with the fire of 1,000 suns. All right, okay.
So the second Asphodel, the boss is the Bone Hydra. Who,
Which is
Now,
pretty
is it
badass.
all-
That one's fun.
Is it always named Lerny?
yes.
No, well, he names it Lerny.
Yeah.
So no, it's just Bone Hydra for a
It
while.
starts out as Bone Hydra.
yeah,
Okay,
and then when
I'm
he,
like, I don't remember this being called Lerny.
and when
did
he's
this
like,
happen?
hey, I'm gonna call you Lerny. You mind if I call you Lerny? And then like the fight starts, and then like when you kill it, it's like Lerny to vanquish or whatever, and you're like, okay.
I
I think
had
I
to
think
run-
he
Go
says
ahead.
something like roar if you're okay with me calling you Lerny, and then it like
Oh, and then it
roars
makes
Yeah, it
and
roars,
then-
yeah, because it wants to eat his face, you know. And he's like, yeah, okay.
I think I had one run where I got there and he goes, did you do something different?
Yes, like a couple of times, it's like you changed something,
yeah.
Mhm.
And it
and
usually
then you'd see like it had like pink horns or something like that.
And it's
Yeah.
a different attack. Like they do different attacks,
He just
Yeah.
has slightly different color palettes.
Mhm.
which is fine. I'm fine
This
with
game
that.
is so good, by the way. This
Tax,
game is
tax
so
change
good.
up, and it keeps you on your toes, you know.
Mhm.
So
You kill Lerny, you get to Elysium. You face Theseus and Astraeus. Although you
First-
can face Astraeus, sometimes you can face him alone, but you never
Yes.
actually beat him because it's just round one. Because you fight him till the bell rings, which is just weird.
no, at first it's just him, and then
Right.
Theseus joins later, and then sometimes he goes away, and like the game's almost like, I'll give you another chance to beat the Minotaur by yourself, and then the game's like, okay, you can't, so now it's both of them all the time.
One of my later runs, he goes, "Why am I fighting you? Aren't I the champion since I beat you?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then he does throw Achilles in his face too. He's like,
Yeah.
"How dare you talk to me about him?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
He also
Like,
mentions
shouldn't Heracles-
Hercules, I think.
Yeah, he says,
Mhm.
"Shouldn't Heracles be here now?"
Yeah.
yeah, Heracles. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is funny.
So before is so I hate Theseus
Yes.
with
Yes.
I
Yeah,
Well, I
like
don't, okay. All right. First of all, I don't hate him. I like him as an NPC. I
But
hate
see-
him as a boss.
He's annoying.
but see, I think I
Yes.
hate him because Supergiant wrote him so well. They wrote that arrogant cock of the walk asshole attitude perfectly for Theseus. I mean, you see him with his like just manicured hair. He looks like
12 pack.
ravishing. He looks like ravishing Rick Rude did in the WWF in the '90s, where he just walked in. I'm just,
Mr. Perfect.
I am the exact. Yes. It's just like it's like he's like the perfect heel.
Oh.
And every time I see him, I'm like, man, I cannot wait to grab your blonde hair and shove you in the fucking ground.
Yeah.
I mean, Asterius, less so. Like, I like how a lot of the runs, like Zagreus is like, yo, Asterius, why you hanging out with this guy? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And Asterius is like, well, he beat me, and he's the king, and blah. I'm just like, no, man, you're better than that, Asterius. We have better fights when it's just you and me anyway. But Asterius does he has to be the smog to Theseus's Ornstein.
Also, I just like to say,
Good point.
like, as much as Theseus rubs me the wrong way, the thing I hate the most about Elysium is those stupid butterfly enemies.
The ones that
Like,
spew the butterflies.
I
the little
can't
balls of
stand
gel.
them. Yeah, like I want to strangle them, but they're orbs, so you can't strangle them. And
The worst one is when it appears in the middle of a room, and then those like little black floating orbs that can like spawn back into full enemies just keep
Yes.
spawning until you
Yes.
kill it, and it's usually
Yes.
armored.
oh,
That's the
jeez,
worst.
yeah, that mini boss sucks too. I hate that. Anytime I get that mini boss, I'm like, well, I guess this run is sort of screwed now.
Yeah, I didn't start getting it a lot until I was consistently getting to Styx, but that was just probably a dice roll on my behalf.
I hate my most hated enemy in Elysium is the damn shield dudes. I hate them.
Yeah, they
the
stink.
orbs that spew the butterflies I don't mind because you can at least hit the butterflies and take them out. At least with the spear. I use the spear as my main weapon, so they're not that big of a problem for me. I do agree that sometimes they spawn in like situations where you're like, you really hate me, game, don't you? And but then you got to realize like all games are designed to kill you, so except racing games, but or whatever else,
Well,
but
Some reason.
I mean,
The fire
it's a
wheel.
racing case.
The fire wheel is the worst. I hate those fire wheels. They just run around and explode, and you're like,
Yes, and you're like hitting it, and it doesn't even stun it, and it's still coming at you, and you're like, my anxiety's going through the roof.
The best part is for me, every time I get those stupid firewheel rooms, it's always like I have spec'd up my weapon to be like a great single shot thing, and then I have like 20 things coming at me at once and can't deflect them all.
Yeah.
It's like the game knows. The game knows what I'm building.
The game's like, I'm gonna throw him a curveball. Let's see how he handles it.
But see, that's also kind of the genius of just roguelikes in general. It's not necessarily about 1-1 to end game. It is like how you adapt to what's put in front of you, and at least that's the thing that brings me back to the style. But yeah, flame wheels suck. I'm having PTSD right now.
after Elysium, you make it to Styx. You're faced with Cerberus. You cannot fight him. Although the first time I definitely attacked him, and
this made me so angry. I was pissed when I saw. I'm like, no, I am not fighting Cerberus. I literally stayed there for like an hour, just like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
So I attacked him, and Zagreus said something like, "This is probably not the best idea."
I mean, it's true. It's true.
But you get through the 5 rooms, although I had 2 runs that took all 5 rooms to clear. I'm like, really?
That's because Cerberus isn't the true gatekeeper. RNGesus is.
Yes. Which can be annoying as all hell. Yes.
RNGesus giveth, RNGesus taketh away.
And I only got the boss in the rooms once, the King Vermin.
I avoid that stupid thing at all costs.
Tiny rat.
I still haven't fought that. That's like,
oh, don't do it.
Yeah. Be glad. It's fine.
I got him today, so it was pretty interesting.
And
I fought him on my first time in Styx.
There's a certain cheekiness to it. But like also, no, you want at that point, it's just like, I need to mitigate any and all losses at this point.
Those rooms are absolute chaos with the traps, and you just it's like
traps, poison, tiny spaces, axes.
And then I like Cerberus vanquished. Just kidding. Or Cerberus ran off for a treat.
Yeah. Or Cerberus disappeared. You did this. And I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah.
I think one was like Cerberus devoured a snack.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I saw that one. Yeah, yeah.
There's a
that was-
little
The snack is
subtitle.
totally poop, though, right? We're totally giving him a sack of shit. Yes.
Don't-
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah.
God, it's probably true. Which sucks.
He's a dog. Whatever.
Okay.
And then you face
So we
Big
know
Bad.
Moose feeds Archer bags of shit. Okay,
I
great.
don't. I swear to God, I'm gonna punch you.
You're gonna line up right behind Michaela because I know she's got one ready for me.
Anyway, Jason.
Jason.
Cerebus moves aside. The Big Bad, dear old dad,
Yeah.
who you don't only face once, as Matt found out, because Matt texted me. I get a text. There's a second phase.
I didn't even think
It's
to
annoying.
text anybody. Like I made it to
Oh.
him and I beat him on the first try, and I had like 45 health left, and then he just gets up, and I'm like, why did my Soulsborne brain not figure out that there was going to be a second phase? Why did I think there was only one phase? Why?
See, I think the reason I didn't is because of ads. Like I had 2 waves of ads. I'm like, yeah, he's not doing a second phase. This has been the pattern through this game to this point. And of course,
And he's like,
second
hey, that
phase.
was just the warm up. Let's go. And then it's
He's like, hey, I'm stretched, I'm limber. Let's have some fun.
yeah, yeah. It's
You kill him, you get to go to the mainland. And I liked how they built in the roguelike component. You meet your mom, you find out it's not Nyx, it's Persephone. You get to talk to her, and then you actually can't survive in the mortal world.
Yeah.
And basically you talk to her briefly, and she says, come find me again. And then says like this, the Styx has taken you. You end up back right in front of Hypnos. And the first time you die that way, Hypnos says something like, wait, you didn't get stabbed? You just died of natural causes?
What is natural causes?
Yeah.
And you're
Hypnos is
back.
pretty funny, by the way. He's awesome.
You're back at the beginning, ready for a new run. But every time you die, you get to, it was kind of, you meet with the house contractor to, might as well renovate the place while you're in your travels.
Doesn't even look like hell, even though it is hell, right?
Before we get to that, obviously you're doing a lot of killing, so you have to choose a weapon. Let's go around the room, starting with our guest. Weapon of choice, TMan.
I think my favorite weapon right now is the adamant rail, which is the gun weapon.
Ooh.
Of course,
Okay.
the final weapon you unlock is a gun.
Okay. Okay.
Definitely has ancient Greece written all over it. A
Yes.
gun,
Yeah.
a rail gun.
Yeah. Very mythologically accurate, plowing things down. with
Dionysus
grenades
is
and
out there
everything.
drinking wine and shooting guns.
Right.
Moose,
The spear.
Michaela.
Spear is my favorite one.
I split 50-50 between the spear and the gun.
Oh,
Matt?
okay.
Okay.
Okay. I need to try this gun. Okay.
I am the gloves all day, every day.
You know,
I went-
Oh, go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
I went all in on the spear. I mean, I beat the game with everything, but the spear was the one I took the
Did you
whole
upgrade
way.
the most?
Oh, I upgraded to. There's a 4th upgrade that's I haven't unlocked yet, which is insane. The fact that I'm already at that, and I'm like, how much more do I have to play to get this?
So
Yeah.
the 4th upgrade for the spear is really cool.
So how do you get to it?
As far as I know, it's sort of RNG. I think you have to use a certain amount of the Titan blood in different weapons, and then Achilles will. Once you talk to Achilles enough, he'll unlock it. I think.
Okay, because I've only upgraded the spear. I did all the upgrades.
I think you have to spread the upgrades out over a couple weapons
Okay.
before it activates. But again, it's kind of like, random as far as I know. I haven't had any confirmation one way or the other.
Do you remember what the 4th upgrade is called?
It's the aspect of Guan Yu. Is
Okay,
the spear
yeah, that's yeah. I have unlocked that, but I'm trying to get the. I think it's that where it like drops your health a lot,
upgrade.
and it changes the sweeping strike to a little almost like a blade rift, like what
Yeah.
Ares gives you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
So I'm trying to beat it with that, and I can't. Yeah.
It was difficult. I got to Hades with it, but I haven't been able to beat it yet.
Mhm,
Okay.
exactly where I've gotten.
No, nobody picked the sword or the shield. The shield is really good for farming because you get a bonus
Yeah.
to darkness and gems, and you get to go all Captain America and throw the.
The shield and the bow are my weakest weapons, but I beat it first with the shield. So
That's weird.
So you say
Yeah.
that the bow, I thought I'd hate the bow, and I kind of did hate the bow
mhm.
and the gloves. Thought I'd hate the gloves, but I thoroughly enjoyed the gloves. That's the first weapon that took me to Hades, not the spear, which I
Right.
loved. And then I didn't beat him with the spear. I haven't beaten him with the spear yet.
Me,
Only
I
with
haven't
the
beat him
bow.
with the gloves. I haven't beat him
Only
with
the
gloves.
bow. And
I
I'm
think
like,
the bow is the most different in terms of playstyle because you have to stay more still than you do with some of the other weapons. And it is the bow was the first one where I really progressed with. I want to say it's the first time I got the sticks. I might have been using the bow. It is killer for Athena builds because if you put
Oh,
deflect
yeah.
on your special, you just deflect the whole screen.
oh yeah, that's true.
My favorite thing to do with the bow is to basically turn it into a shotgun where I like upgrade the special with power and then just get right up next to enemies and unload all the arrows into one enemy and it just deletes them.
Yeah.
I like
I
that.
figured
like
that
that a
out. I figured that out. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So why am I sitting there hanging back like this is a distance weapon? If I get to one of those big guys and just get a bunch of shots into him, it stacks versus how many, it stacks with how many consecutive shots you hit with that. And then I was just like, oh, wait a minute. Now I might be better with the bow.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
So the bow, my bow, when I beat it, was built to where holding down your regular attack button, it didn't charge a shot. It just rapid fired. So you couldn't charge a shot. And I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here. I gotta dash away, sit in a corner and shoot at things. I'm like, I don't like this. I want to move around. I want to have more maneuverability. But then once I got that upgrade, I'm like, you know what? I might stick with the bow. But like now I'm on a hill where I'm going to beat Hades with the spear before I try any other weapon. That's the hill I'm gonna die on, and I don't care how many more deaths it takes me to do it. But I'm gonna do it before I go back to the bow. But the bow is a viable weapon. So
Yeah, I had a spear build with where every attack is 3 attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
And
best.
then you
that is a
upgrade.
good one too.
I like when you upgrade your throw to hit 7 targets at once.
Oh,
That
yeah.
upgrade is broken. Like you just everything dies.
That's the is that A? Your cast attack? Is that the throw you're talking about?
No, it's just the
No, the
regular
special.
attack.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. I got you. The special attack. Okay.
Oh, special's a throw.
Cast builds can get nasty though.
Yes, they can.
Hunting blades every time.
Hunting blades. Which one's that? That's Artemis, right?
That's the no,
Hades?
it's Artemis and Ares where your blade rifts home in on people.
Oh yeah.
The duo boon, which are rare.
Oh yeah, that's violent.
We should-
I like Hades blades. I like those things flying out there is awesome. So yeah.
So we should talk about gods now because that's the one thing we really haven't talked a lot about. Unless Jason, you have anything pressing on the docket.
I was just no, because the gods will segue into this other. I was gonna talk about your favorite god to use to help you, but we'll talk about the gods and because when you can call the god, when you have a god gauge. But yeah, the gods. So There's a lot. There's and I figured out late in the game that you have to kind of please them to get their artifacts or their keepsakes rather.
Yeah, you
I
have to give them
figured that out.
nectar.
Because yeah, so you have. I mentioned earlier you have the chthonic gods and the Olympus gods.
Mhm.
The Olympus gods just appear to you. They're like, we're gonna help you fuck up Hades.
Yeah.
So you get your Zeus, Poseidon, Athena, Aphrodite, Artemis, Ares, Dionysus, Hermes. Then you also have
Demeter.
Demeter. Then you have, you have other characters who don't appear. They only like Hypnos only appears, and in the
Hall of
house
Hades.
in the hall.
It's basically the House of Hades. You can call it the House of Hades because that's what they tell you when you get back.
The International House of Hades, open 24/7.
But Hypnos does provide a keepsake.
Yes.
Yes.
Achilles will mainly appear in the House of Hades. Eventually unlocks the Codex, which is kind of nice. I wish I
am I incorrect in understanding that his only job is to protect Hades' room? Besides training you, like his only job is to make sure no one goes into Hades' room.
Yeah, he fails at that.
Achilles.
Achilles.
He's
He made a
blocking the
deal.
administrative hallway.
Right.
Yeah, he
right.
has
That's what
to
I
stand
thought.
post there because he made a deal that he would stay in Hades if I'm going to pronounce this wrong, either Patroclus or Patroclus. I forget how you pronounce that.
The latter.
Gets to
The
stay
latter.
in Elysium.
It's a letter.
Yeah.
Oh, so he was like, I'll serve in hell if you make sure he stays here. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I figured that's where that was going. But he guards that whole hallway. That's what I thought. Okay, that makes sense.
So there's also, as you mentioned, Patroclus. There's the maid, Dusa.
Dusa, she's adorable.
I
That poor
love
thing.
Dusa. Like
Yeah,
she's so nervous around you. Oh,
Yeah.
I just want to hug her.
You just want to be able
hug her.
let's just chill.
Dude,
That's cool.
everybody in this game, I'm saying it right now, everybody in this game is goddamn hot. All of them. Even creepy ass Tisiphone. All of
Ooh,
them.
yeah.
No.
Okay.
All of them.
I don't have an undead fetish.
Maybe not, but see, I'm not saying like just specifically for Michaela Crocione. I'm just saying just in general. There is hotness all over this game.
Especially Charon.
Jason's like,
No.
I'd let Charon take me in his boat. Just saying.
No.
Just saying.
I mean,
Hermes can,
he's not-
Hermes
he's
can
not gonna
deliver
talk
me
to you-
all over
talk to you
Hades.
to death. He's just gonna be like,
No.
I mean, you'll be all right.
We
I
also
still
have
think Tisiphone's worse.
Skelly, Skelly's my man.
Oh,
I like
Skelly.
Skelly.
Yeah,
How
because
many
if anybody's going to be from Jersey in this game, it's Skelly.
Yeah.
How many times Skelly would have the exclamation point to talk, and I'd accidentally punch him,
Hit him.
or something?
Yep,
I'm like,
yep.
damn it! I want to talk to him first.
He's just doing his job. It's fine.
So,
Right, yeah, he's like, I'm
Less
just out here doing my
conversation,
job.
more hitting there, boyo.
Yeah.
So, as you do the Pact of Punishment, once you get to 8 heat, I don't know if you got there, T-Man.
I haven't got there yet.
You know, in the corner, there's those what looks like statues with coverings on them. In the right next to the door. Once you get to 8 heat, you uncover the first. It's 8 heat, 16, and I think 21. So Skelly says, "I got you a surprise." You uncover it. It's a statue of Skelly.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
I knew it was going to be something like that.
I
Oh,
love
that's
it. That's so good.
And your first reaction's like, "I thought this was supposed to help me."
Less conversation, more hitting there, boyo.
Nice.
And then the
Nice.
two I didn't mention, I'm gonna butcher this. Eurydice,
Eurydice.
Eurydice.
Eurydice, I
Eurydice.
think. Yeah.
and Orpheus. Orpheus, you rescue.
Yes.
Yeah,
through the contractor.
former. Yes,
through
the contractor.
the contractor
The former.
thing, you can unlock him. Yeah, basically.
I only saw her once in my run. Can she appear more than?
I
once?
see her like at least every
Eurydice?
other run.
Yeah.
I only saw her
She-
one time.
Eurydice is in Asphodel as often as Sisyphus and Patroclus are in their respective regions.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're doing.
You just got to look for the you got to make sure you're picking the exclamation point.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that if it's not appearing though, then that's some weird RNG.
I mean, I've had plenty of runs where nobody appears.
Well, yes, I have had that, but I'm just
She
saying
appeared
they
the one
appear
time.
more
Around.
times than not. Yeah,
I mean, Asphodel is shorter than the other regions, except for Styx because of the way it's set up. But compared to
Yeah.
Elysium and Tartarus, Asphodel is what, half the amount of rooms? Something like that.
Probably.
It's shorter.
Something like that. Yeah, it's super short.
but she
And then-
might not always show up as far as like an option to pick her. So
And then the one god I didn't mention yet, I didn't encounter him. Hypnosis' brother, Thanatos.
Thanatos.
Wait,
yeah.
you didn't have
Thanatos.
Than in your whole
Nope.
game?
Wow.
No, it's the
What?
last. I can't complete that fate on my desk. It's the one
I
god.
don't even know what you
that's-
do to get him to show up, but he does.
Yeah.
He usually shows up.
Wait, you
in
haven't had
Elysium.
had
Like
him
the first
at
time
all.
he shows up is
Nope.
in Elysium.
Wow.
So you don't even know what he does
Show
to
up,
you,
like
do you?
in my first 10
No.
runs.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
What does it matter? We're
He's
playing it
basically-
anyway.
He's basically just like a challenge where he challenges you in that stage to kill more enemies than he kills. If you kill more enemies than he kills, you get both the reward for the room and an extra reward. But if you don't,
Oh.
then you just get the reward for the room. So
okay.
that's pretty much what he does. We didn't mention.
Chaos.
Yeah, I was just gonna say chaos. Yeah.
Chaos, yeah.
Which I had no clue because every time I'd walk up to that little pit going down wherever it's going down, I'm like, I don't want to give up health. And so one time I was just like, this run is fucked. And so I took it. I'm like, hey, dude, what's up, man? You down here? We chilling? We cool?
You got a ton of heads just in your torso. What's going on there, Chaos?
I'm like, what is going on? We might
So-
be good friends.
I had a run. You can unlock through the contractor where Chaos Realm appears. I had it appear in the first 2 sections. I came out of there and I was like, my health's at 1. Fuck. This
I
is going
think-
to be a good run.
Is it
Like-
if you get Chaos's like charm thingy, you can
Yeah,
make it
the-
not cost health,
The,
right?
the
Yeah.
cosmic egg
Yes.
will it won't cost health to visit the Chaos Realm,
Mhm.
which is nice.
I love Chaos because it looks like he's visiting out of like a Shin Megami Tensei game or like Persona or one of those.
Yep.
Like he just showed
Okay.
up.
Okay, I can see that.
Never heard of it. What is a persona?
All right, Miss 5 Royale with cheese.
Platinum did on Friday.
Oh, congratulations, Michaela.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Persona 5 Royal
3:30 in the
Platinum.
morning. I fucking platinum Persona 5 Royal.
Jeez. She's like, I'm done with this. Delete.
Well,
Took
so you're
120 fucking hours.
so you're going from attacking and dethroning God to letting gods help you out. Nice.
I mean,
There
you
you
still
go.
have to attack the god. You can't
So
be-
I'm curious if you guys know. I have 15 of the keepsakes so far. I haven't unlocked the bottom though. I don't know
How
what those are
many-
yet.
How many
The one
are
with-
I have.
Ooh.
So if you max out certain people's nectars, like if you
Mhm.
give them enough nectar, it'll like get to a locked heart. And
Right.
then you have to do a task for them and it's different for each person. For me, I got Deuces first, and you just had to like upgrade enough things in the lounge to make it look pretty because she's always cleaning it. And
Yeah.
once you
Makes
unlock
sense.
that, you can give them the ambrosia, which you've been getting from the Theseus and Minotaur fight.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you give that to them, it unlocks the lower keepsakes,
okay.
and those are companions, and you can summon that the person that gave you the gift in battle during your run.
I was wondering because I was looking for
Very
I
nice.
told them there was a weird mechanic I couldn't figure out, and I looked at the controls and it said summon. I'm like, summon what? Because it also says codex, and you're like, in the beginning, you're like, what codex? There's no codex. And then finally
Yeah,
unlock
that's
it,
true.
you're like, oh, that's what that is.
That makes sense. I
That's,
figured that
you know,
would
that's
be,
exactly how I sounded. Oh, that's how.
like that's what I figured it would be. Because like you get to a point where like you give them so many nectar and they won't take anymore. Like you can't give them anymore. Like Eurydice, like I've given her so many, like all the nectars I possibly could. Like every time I'm going through there because I want to listen to her sing. And I'm just going to sit there. And I don't care if she's like mid-song. I'm going to wait till that's done and hear it go all the way through again and listen to her sing. Then I'm going to give her that, take whatever she has to offer to me and go on my way. You
So
know?
what's cool later, when you unlock the codex, you can actually see when to stop giving them nectar. Like their entry
Oh, on
their
their, yeah.
entry will have hearts, and it'll actually stop and be grayed out. So you know then they're at the ambrosia stage, and you can pick someone different.
Yeah.
Because you want to unlock the keepsake first.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could obviously keep giving nectar, but at some point it just stops.
I've got a few that I'm like, I think I've given ambrosia to one god, but not anybody that I would get a keepsake from. I think I gave an ambrosia to Ares.
You get a keepsake from all the gods.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about the lower keepsake.
Oh,
Yeah.
the bottom part.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
the companions are only from the chthonic gods. I don't think.
I think, well, I know Sisyphus is one.
Yeah, I think.
Because I actually saw a gameplay video where someone summoned him, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I think you can summon Skelly. He's one of them.
Okay.
I don't know who else.
I would
Maybe
assume
Achilles.
I would assume
would be
Achilles or
Yeah.
Patroclus.
Just put some
That
ankle guards on.
yeah.
Maybe Thanatos. I'm not sure.
Thanatos seems like one. I think it's just. I think it's maybe not. Maybe not. Well, maybe is everybody a god in this game? I always forget.
That's
No.
so. I'm still racking my brain on why Jason has not met Thanatos yet. Like
Yeah.
this
I'm
is
trying
Yeah,
to
that's-
see what triggers him to show up because
But like, okay, so you know the little hallway by the admin section where Achilles is, Jason? He's down that hallway. Like sometimes he's hanging out by like the quote unquote like river.
Yeah, he's not there
or
all the
sometimes
time.
he'll be in the
I don't.
lounge too with Meg.
Yes, and he'll talk to Meg, but I think that only happens if you've actually met him in the game, which is weird.
Yeah.
So he might not see him for a long time or like whatever. I don't know. It's just that's really weird.
There's probably something that just hasn't clicked, and because RNG's funny. Yeah, I mean, Thanatos is your coin from Remnant, Jason.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was it the ring? Was it the coin in the
I mean,
ring?
I unlocked Sisyphus, the keepsake, but I haven't seen him since then to further any nectar. I've only seen him once. So
You've
I
only
happen to
seen
get.
Sisyphus once? Are you never getting the exclamation doors between Sisyphus and Eurydice?
That has to
Yeah.
be it.
That's
I
so
mean,
weird. They show up
I've-
every couple runs.
I've done almost every like key upgrade and renovation, so I'm gearing towards. I stay away from the exclamation point a lot on my runs.
Well,
Oh,
they
see, that's
appear in the
why.
exclamation point rooms.
So, but
Yeah,
it's the
that's
what?
what
It's
that
like
is.
the gray exclamation point.
Yeah. With like the
So I'll have
Recolored
to
stars.
start doing runs where I focus on
Yeah,
that.
because I
you
always
only get one
in,
per area.
in Elysium I always pick Achilles'
Patroclus.
boyfriend. Yeah,
'Cause-
because I
It's
want
the
to
different story
reset
of
my
death
death
cleansing and
count.
stuff.
Because sometimes I'm running in there with like 2 gone, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, what's up?"
There, I mean,
All I have is this tooth left. I need you to give me some lives.
there is so much to do, like the renovations, the fate table to fill that out. Like those are challenges. I like that, and I didn't notice that at first, but when you pick the different boons, it tells you fate choice if you haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
So if you choose that, it checks it off in the book,
Mhm.
and it won't appear then later. So it's like, oh, that's handy.
Wait, what are you talking about?
So when you get the upgrades for your weapons,
Yeah,
like
from the
it says, usually it has like a tooltip. It'll say fate choice or fated choice.
on the where the list of upgrades.
If it says fated
Like-
choice and you pick it, it checks it off in the book
Codex.
at your desk
Mhm.
at your desk. So then
Yeah,
next
and
time it won't say fated choice if you've done it before.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I've done the spear. I've finished the whole checklist.
Nice.
And you get like I
Yeah.
think I got like 150. You get different rewards, like diamonds,
Yeah,
or
I think it's gemstones or whatever.
gems for
that.
some, diamonds, keys.
I think I've
His
completed a
Titan blood for
couple.
one of the objectives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I've
Titan blood for
completed-
one.
I've completed 2 or 3 gods, but I have one left on every weapon. Because I
Speaking
have
of
to
gods,
get the
who's-
Daedalus hammers.
who's your favorite to summon? We'll start with T-Man.
Do you mean like summon as
Like
like
the
the,
gods?
the special
The call.
Ooh.
So I've recently, like, I used to really like Ares because it makes you invulnerable and like the Blade Rift does a ton of damage.
Mhm.
But recently I've really gotten into Aphrodite
Yep.
because
Yeah.
the charm is just so good in like big spawn rooms. And then if you let it go full up all the way, it does a shit ton of damage, especially
Mhm.
to bosses. So
Yes.
I'm a Demeter fan. You hit that, and then it just keeps spreading the circle, and you just go about your business and then let it do its own work. And it goes like almost the entire room.
I do not like going to Theseus and Asterius without a call of some sort. And
Yes.
I got Demeter's call. And I'm like, man, this is like the nothing from Neverending Story. Just enveloping everything. I love it.
I like Poseidon's for
Poseidon.
a little, but it's kind of a little chaotic because it just kind of goes everywhere. And you're like, okay, then.
Hmm.
I gotta
I
say, you
didn't-
haven't lived until you've done Aphrodite's on the Minotaur and watch him smash Theseus for you. It's so cathartic.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I know. I have done that. I have seen him go out. Oh, that's good.
I'm not a fan of Zeus's. I feel
No, you have to get
It's-
like close.
you
up
have to. There's kind of RNG with it. I mean, it can be
is.
powerful, but I
Yeah.
like the ones that kind of summon and forget.
If you
Yeah.
have the gloves, you can use Zeus's because you kind of have to be up in their face.
Up
with
against
Yeah.
the enemy. Yeah.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
like even like a if you're fighting Hades, Zeus isn't that bad because you're gonna usually be, on him. You're gonna be like, you're not gonna be like, hey, I'm off over here fighting something. Just on the
Yeah.
rare occasion he spawns something. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hades does not give you space.
I think I like the god the most, Artemis, but like her call, I'm like, I don't know, like where you just get the summon, like the arrow.
Yeah.
Like you just get the arrow, and I'm just like, it's one arrow. Oh wow, it did like 160 damage. That was worth building up my meter. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. All her
juice is
other
not
stuff
worth-
is cool.
Yeah, the juice
Like
is not
like
worth
the
the squeeze on her
critical
call.
The critical hit is cool. I do like the seeking
Support
arrow
fire.
when you do
Support fire, yeah.
when you do
Support
damage. Like
fire.
that's nice. I do like that a lot. But as far as like her call, like I think it's worthless to me.
yeah, I would agree. I think Artemis's is the least useful call, but she is really good for all her support stuff.
Yeah.
And she has like some of the best duo boons as well, like
Yeah.
combining her with others.
I feel like if it would just be like a rain of fire, like a rain of arrows from the sky, like that would be cool. Whereas
You
in
should
just
get
like
something
one target.
like how Theseus uses her, like the arrows coming up from the ground or something.
I've seen
Yes.
that, yes, and I hate
Yes.
him. Yeah, I hate it, and I'm like, why you gotta do me like this? I know I picked Hades the last time I was in a room and I had to pick between two guys, but you don't have to hate me like this,
Yeah.
I like when you pick between the two gods and the one gets pissed and then they're basically like, nah, just kidding, we're cool.
Can't stay mad at you.
Yeah, like you basically like whoop all their enemies' asses, and then they're like, I can't. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
With a
feel like
show
some
of
of them
strength
legitimately
like
don't like
that,
each other.
I'm on your side.
I saw like a cat fight between like Athena and Aphrodite. They legit don't like each other.
Oh,
They
Artemis
do
and
not.
Aphrodite. Oh my God, Artemis and Aphrodite. Oh,
I just
the
want to say,
shit
I don't
talking
think
between
anybody
gods.
likes
is-
Aphrodite. I'm just gonna say any other females. Demeter doesn't like her. Artemis
No,
doesn't
Demeter
like her. Athena doesn't like her. I think it's just because she's hotter. But that's my take. I'm
Well-
just throwing it out there.
I mean, even Hermes is like, oh, you're hanging out with Aphrodite, huh?
Yeah.
Well, my favorite god just to like have dialogue with is Dionysus.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because
yeah.
like where Poseidon is definitely like he's your cool uncle. He's like your cool after
He's
school
trying to be
special
your
uncle.
cool.
He will like turn his hat around, turn the chair around, and be like, let's rap. Whereas Dionysus is that cool uncle that's gonna give you beer
Yeah. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're
That's true.
underage.
Yeah.
and he's like, hey Zag, I see you're partying with Artemis. That's crazy. She doesn't party with anybody. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
It's like, just like, geez, Dionysus, try not to seem so rapey. But yeah, the gods in this are so good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever answered, but my favorite is still Ares, just because we need to get a boss done. Ares is your man.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, having this conversation tonight made me realize that I haven't seen Ares spawn like as an option in like a week. He's
Like
just been
as
gone from,
an
like,
actual god to pick.
as an actual god
their
to
boom.
pick. He's just not. He's yeeted himself right out the way. He doesn't like me. I don't know.
And that happens sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I for like there was a long stretch where I just never saw Poseidon. Like he just
I
disappeared.
think Poseidon's mine right now. I haven't seen him in a
For
while.
me, it's Ares. I legit haven't seen him in a week.
Been a while since I've seen Artemis.
Oh, I go looking for her though. I'm always having her. It's like so have you guys? I'm assuming you've all have upgraded to where you can switch keepsakes between worlds.
Mhm.
Is there a way to do it between Elysium and Styx or no?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can do it in the place between the two.
Do you have to pay to upgrade it though? I would assume, right?
You mean
'Cause I
sticks
don't
in the
know.
end?
No.
No, Elysium and Styx.
Yeah,
you
you
should
because-
be
No,
able
it's the
to.
same as always.
Yeah, it's
Because
in
I
that room.
haven't, for some reason, I think I'm going to say I'm blind on this one because I have not seen it ever. So
Wait, you
usually
didn't
when
have
I'm
to
going
beat Theseus and the Minotaur.
in them, yes.
I agree with you. I don't know. I haven't seen it between there.
And see, and I might not have, because I know you have to pay for the upgrades for the other two places. They don't just show up.
Maybe you do have to pay for that.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe it's
I don't think
another
it's, I don't think
upgrade.
it's there because you just walk up and it's
Oh,
just like oh crap. It's
Uh-oh,
just a
what happened?
centipede. Centipedes! Get her!
Bone Hydra! Oh my desk! Oh my god!
How dare you spray?
The goddess of bugs has been
I
summoned.
know, summoned to mass hole. But anyways, I don't like that little room before you go up and see the actual room with Cerberus and what's his name, the boat guy. How would you even pronounce that?
Karen.
Yeah.
Karen.
No, I don't think there's anything in there. And I will say I haven't really looked because I'm just blowing by to go up there. And,
No, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure before that room it's there, but after Cerberus, it's definitely not.
yeah, no, it's definitely not there after Cerberus.
Yeah, there should be before you get to Styx. If it's not there, there should be an upgrade at some point in the.
Yeah, I don't think I have it in my contractor, but
Contractor. There we go.
I'm pretty sure I've had to do the other ones.
I might have to look into that.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I saw all these shiny upgrades with the contractor, and then I got the music stand, and was like, I'm unlocking the music because I want to
Yeah.
play some
Oh, the
sweet
music's
jams.
great. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. I've spent so many diamonds on that. I've been stocking up nectar just to buy diamonds from the vendor, so you could just use it there. So yeah, I'm with you there, TMan. But I found my favorite Dionysus quote. it It makes me giggle every time. Hey, heard you wrestled with some satyrs near the surface, Zag. Nice work making it that far. I just want to let you know they're definitely not my crew, man. Satyrs I know aren't like that at all. It's just like, don't be mad at me because you're getting poisoned near the surface. After all, I do poison damage.
It ain't my crew. That ain't my crew.
I do act this way. Don't know them.
Yeah,
Jason.
there's so I didn't really cover it because I think me and TMan are really the only ones who dug into it. So the Pact of Punishment adds like a whole new level of replayability because what I felt, I told you guys before the show, once I fully upgraded the spear without any bounties on, the game's a joke. Like a fully upgraded spear, less the last aspect, you just destroy everything. So the bounties, there's like, I want to say there's like 12 or 15 different categories to pick from. You could like boost their health, their armor, if
The number of enemies that are in a room.
the number of enemies, if
damage
have
they do to
armor
you.
first,
Yeah.
the damage they do to you. I've gotten through nine, but what's cool is it actually resets on weapons. So
Yeah.
like I'm on 9 with the spear. If I take the sword, I have to start back at 1. And the game will actually, it doesn't stop you, but it tells you when you feel like I'm at 9 bounties. If I go to 10, there's no benefit to me other than unless I want pain and suffering.
Other than you just like getting hurt, don't you?
But bounties are the only way to unlock the stuff for Skelly, which I'm assuming are 2 bigger statues of Skelly.
My favorite of the packs is the one called Extreme Measures, which changes the boss patterns. And I don't know if any of you have tried it yet.
No.
But one time that when you do it the first time for the first boss, all 3 Furies are there and they don't all leave. You get to fight more than one at the same time.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well,
We
now
gotta
I wanna
get good,
do that.
Matt. We gotta
No,
get good.
I mean, I could put that on right now. I think I'm gonna do that. Now I wonder if you put more on all 3, you fight all 3 of them. That'd be crazy.
Well, because you
That'd
can
be
max it.
crazy.
Because you don't even have to pick just one. You could put like 5 in one category. You don't have to pick 5 different ones. So you could do like the foes have 20% health, or they can have 80% more health.
Yeah. Now, when you have the packs of punishment, do you need to unlock currency for that, or can you just add it?
No, it's just. But you do have to clear. So you have to beat it on 1. Then you have to beat it on 2. Like you can't just instantly go to 9.
I can't just throw a whole bunch into one.
No.
You can, but there's no benefit to it.
Yeah, there's no benefit.
Okay.
You still have to beat it. I think it's 20 times to finish it.
Okay.
The 20 runs with each weapon. So that's 100 more runs.
How many of us flipped the mirror in the bedroom?
You mean
What do you mean?
Because you know how you can use darkness in the mirror, but then if you go to the left side, you can change what all of those are.
I have not flipped the mirror.
I have not. I don't think
So
I've flipped it.
next time you go to the bed, next time you go to the quarters, you'll look at all the things that you've maxed out already.
Yeah.
And then you can change what those are by looking at the icon on the left.
Oh yeah.
If you look in your codex, there's a challenge for beating it with everything on both sides. So like if you beat it with everything on once, you only have half of it done. And then I was looking at that, I'm like, how do I do that? And then I flipped it. I'm like, oh, everything has another side.
Yeah, I think it's like a really easily missable dialogue with, I think, Nyx.
It's either
like,
Nyx or Electo or something.
Yeah, someone says like, oh, you can flip the mirror and a lot of people are apparently missing it because
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, holy crap, there's another whole second set of options.
So, like, for example, the Death Defiance, where you only have 3 deaths. Well, there's one where you can die once every room. But if you die twice in that room, run over.
So it's good for running, but not for bosses. That's like instead of Death Defiance, it's like, it starts with an S, doesn't it? Something.
Yeah,
Stubborn, I think.
Yeah, it's
Stubborn
Stubborn
Defiance.
Defiance.
Unless you
Stubborn
get good.
Defiance.
You know, I mean,
I'm
look, trying to get.
I feel like as I can say, as one of the weakest players on this panel, I got through it. I said one of Moose. You and I are both at the bottom together, buddy. But if I can do it, I'm pretty sure everybody here can, because after all, Leroy.
This is like 100% in this game is pushing like 70, 80 hours.
Yeah.
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 There's a lot here.
I mean, I can clear a run in under 40 minutes, but collecting everything, I mean,
40 minutes is a long time. A lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a quick run, but I mean.
But I do. Has anyone turned on their timer feature?
Yeah, I keep it on.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say I love that because it also helps me. I'm not like when you're running and you're like, you should know when the boss is coming. Sometimes you're just paying attention to the room and you're not paying attention to when it's going to be a boss. And it's like, I'm at 5 minutes, I should see the first boss. I'm at, whatever set minutes, I should see the second boss. You know what I mean? So it's a nice way to keep track and then also like see what your pace is for that run.
It's so like, I feel I'm so far in, but I'm not even scratching. So like, I'm at the point where some of the Chaos Realms are 15 bounties, and I still have 6 to go to get to that one.
Jason
like,
is just
what the hell?
He's just barely developing his addiction to Hades. Like he's like, we're going full blown coke here, okay?
You know what, Moose? He can stop anytime he wants, right? I mean, he just doesn't want to.
I mean, he doesn't have to send us pictures of him playing.
So I have a question for all of you. Have any of you tried to fight the secret boss yet?
No, because I don't know what the secret boss is.
Everyone's looking at me like, what? Okay. Is it okay if I spoil it?
You can spoil it for me. I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah. So occasionally, if you go onto Karen's shop, there will be a bag of money floating behind him.
I saw that today. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
And it has like, in quotes, borrow the amount of money.
Yes.
If you take that, he takes you down into another realm of hell and you have to fight him.
What?
I would have did that. I wish I did that. That would have been
I wish I would have done that. Oh, man.
I'm going to go ahead and warn you, he will kick your ass the first time.
Okay.
Like, I haven't beaten him yet, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. And holy shit. It was...
Is it any shop or is it the shop at the end with Cerebus?
I think it's actually only shops that you get in like the middle of each world. So it's not a shop right before a boss or the one at the very end.
Yeah.
So you have to get it one of the middle shops.
Yeah.
Okay.
I recommend not doing it in the very first world because that's what I did and it did not go well.
This
that seems like a bad idea.
When I saw it, it was right
Thank you for
before
telling me about that.
I fought the Minotaur. You know how you got the mini fight with the Minotaur and you go so far and he's like, all right, that's it. I'll see you in like 20. that was where I saw that bag and I'm like, oh
man,
like 300 gold and I'm like, I could just take that.
It's like
and I'm like I know a goddamn mimic chest when I see one, bitch.
Man, I rolled credits and now I'm like, damn it, I have to go back.
The best part is when you die, Hypnos is like, "Oh, so you decided to fight Karen, huh? Well, you see that's a mistake, right?"
Yeah. Hypnos. I would say Hypnos is like some of the best comic relief.
I'm
Like,
awake.
he
I'm awake.
is
I'm awake. I'm
hilarious.
awake.
Yeah. Come on. What's going on? What's going on?
So
Also,
Redacted got you again, huh?
Is the fishing just somewhat odd and out of place?
I
to
have
anyone
not.
else?
So I have not caught a fish. I've tried going fishing, and I'm not sure on how the mechanics work. I've only fished like twice, so I'm just
You
like,
have to wait till it slightly submerges more than.
yeah,
And
It's like
then-
fishing in Animal Crossing, essentially.
yeah. So
And then-
I'm learning that, and so
So-
now the next time I should catch something
Every time you catch something, you bring it to the chef
in the
in the
lounge.
kitchen. Yeah, in the lounge.
Yeah.
You can walk
Nice.
behind, and he'll have a exclamation
Okay.
point, and you can give him.
Yep.
I've gotten 3 so far, and honestly, I couldn't even tell you what the reward was each time.
Nice.
I tend to
I've
forget to look.
I've caught enough so I could get that reward from Poseidon.
He's like, thanks for
I caught-
cleaning
I
out my
caught, like,
shit ass sea. Thanks, buddy.
But
What is it?
I've caught
Did you-
like I've caught like at least 50 fish. At this point.
Wow.
Anyone died of lava, and Zagreus goes, "I'm fire resistant, not fireproof."
I have not died to
Yeah.
lava. No, I,
I
have not
haven't,
yet.
but that sounds funny.
But that's like the only stage that I hate is because you're like dodging around and all of a sudden you're standing in lava and it's like, son of a bitch. And like there goes like 15, 20 points of your health. That's annoying, but
Mhm.
On the flip side, I love having Poseidon and just knocking everyone into the lava because that's fun.
yeah, that is fun. Yeah.
I got
agree.
Poseidon and Zeus's combo, so like you push with Poseidon and then they also get jolted. They get a hit from they get a lightning bolt after they get pushed, which is nice.
Yeah. That is a lot of fun.
I think my favorite combo was, I think it's Ares and Zeus, which was Vengeful Mood, where
Yes.
like your revenge abilities just activate every 3 seconds. You don't have to get hit. And I had literally every vengeance ability you can get from a god. So every 3 seconds I was zapping them and hitting them with Hangover and hitting them with the Doom thing and
Nice.
deflecting things. And it was just like, nothing could touch me.
Very nice.
I do love it when a roguelike hits the more chaotic moments in like Binding of Isaac where just nothing can touch you and then everything around you is chaos. It's great.
The only thing I missed in the story, or maybe I didn't miss it, at one point you ask Hades who Koro is, and he flips out on you and basically tells you, don't bring that up again. Is he referring to because the bow's Koronok? Or is it just something, did anyone catch that? He like slams his fist into the desk and he tells you, never mention this again.
I think that actually has to do with the myth
Okay.
rather than something in the game.
I think it's another name that Persephone went by. I think.
Oh, because, okay. Did you guys see did you, Michaela, Moose, and Matt, did you see the flashback? There's a flashback scene. I don't know if you got
The one at
the-
night.
Yeah, if you go to
Where
your
he's
it's
working
it's the only
the other
time.
one?
It's the only time you can go to bed.
Yeah, that's pretty early.
yes. Yeah.
So I don't
I've
know
gone
if
to bed-
that's like part of this when the story gets further.
I've gone to bed twice.
Really, I've only gone.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
I've-
try every time.
I've
but
slept
usually,
twice.
Usually,
was-
like I tried to sit down because if I sit, I'll never get up again.
Same
slept-
energy. No, there was one where you see like his backstory, and there's one where you see him going to work.
Yeah. I saw the one where he went to work.
Oh, I didn't see the work
That's
one.
where I slept.
I must have missed
I
that
haven't
one.
I haven't seen. See, this fucking game is gonna make me play for all of goddamn
Well,
eternity.
there's still the one door in the hallway by Achilles.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, has anyone unlocked that?
In the
How
upper
do you get
the
in
upper
there?
part? You mean the
No,
upper
the
part?
upper
Yeah.
part. The
I
upper
have not.
part's
No,
no.
I've
The
not.
upper part's Hades' room. You go in there after.
No, I thought the door right next to Achilles was Hades' room, and then the door
So,
up.
if
No,
you
that's the
past the
admin
like.
upgrade.
If you approach
No, no,
Hades,
no, no, no,
if
no,
you
no, no,
approach
no, no.
Achilles
No.
and go past the 6 like statues, that's Hades' room. To the left is that door is still locked for me.
I thought that was Hades' room.
No,
because the
the one
admin
by
is
the
down
statue.
further left, and
The
then
one
past the
if you make
statues
a
was
right,
something new.
if you make a right when you're looking at Achilles, past the 6 statues, that's Hades' room. And
Okay.
you eventually go in there by the story.
Yeah.
The one to the left, I've not unlocked it, so I have no idea what it is.
I haven't unlocked it either. I've only unlocked the administrative room, and I'm like, where's the
Same.
musician Ophisis? Or I'm like,
Orpheus.
where's Orpheus's contract so that, him and his muse can like hang out? Like, fucking come on.
I mean, me and TMan are far enough in that we still haven't. I mean, you unlock the garden unlocks at the end of the game. That's down the hall past your room.
Okay.
Okay. Did anyone get the lyre in your bedroom?
I have it. I still can't play it, but
Yeah, I keep strumming it.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought there was isn't there like a thing you can unlock with the contractors where you can learn to play? Or maybe that was one of your things where you sit at your desk and you got like the
yeah, I think
like
it's
your
one
list.
of the prophecies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind. That's what it was. Okay.
Like I pluck it every time I go by it, and he still sucks at it. So
Yeah,
Because
I
I-
do,
don't know
I
what
do
I'm
two.
supposed
I
to
do two things. I do two things every time now. I talk to Cerberus and I play the lyre. That's usually like my two go-tos.
Right.
Unless Deuce is around, then I'll talk to Deuce.
Talk to Deuce, man.
So-
Hey, what's up, girl?
The one time I saw Dusa with the option to give the nectar, I accidentally hit talk, and then it never came up again. I'm like, damn it!
They should make them like the same buttons, on the same
Yeah.
side of the controller.
Or like a
make it
dialogue
so-
option. Talk,
Yeah.
give nectar.
Yeah. And there should so does the shop not need a fucking confirmation?
I had a little bit of trouble. Like when I first started playing, I thought I would be buying one thing, and I bought something else instead. And I'm like, I didn't want that. Give me a little more confirmation than that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they need like a do you want to buy, Hades, whatever.
We
Or
need two-step verification, Supergiant. Come on.
right, or not even that, just like have them be a little further apart so that you can actually make sure that you're not, that it's not like an exact science where you're like having anxiety, like, am I gonna pick this or this?
I didn't know it was this hard.
Here I am. I bought this burgers and fries, but I was trying to get a boon from Demeter over here. What the hell?
Yeah.
I didn't
Come on,
have any trouble menuing in the shop. One thing I did notice that was buggy in the game. So one thing we did mention was that we talked about frame rate sometimes chugging a bit in some high traffic areas and fights. One thing I noticed is sometimes things were not consistent room to room. Like if I had restored a Death Defiance, sometimes when I was in like Karen's shop or something, it wouldn't show up, and then I would go into the next room and then it would show that I had my Death Defiance restored or something like that. Or I would earn money in one room and then it would not show up in the next room. I did notice that happen a couple times. I was like,
I have not noticed that.
I was like, excuse me, where's my shit?
The
You
Death
pay attention
Defiance,
to
I
your
think
shit
I've had
more
happen.
often than I do. Like I'm just like going like I wouldn't notice the money thing. Maybe the Death Defiance I would notice because I'm always
I
like
needed an exact amount to buy something in the next room, and I got it by earning money in that room, and then I went to the next room and didn't have enough. And I was like, what the? I'm like, I know
wouldn't-
I'm bad at math, but I'm not that bad at math.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
It's
What do you say,
this is
Jason?
this is a game. I mean,
Yeah, this is a game.
What is everyone's favorite
So,
room?
want to go around final thoughts or?
Well, I have a question. What's everyone's
Oh, go right ahead.
favorite room to pick? Like, what do you like aim for when you're going, like when you're leveling? Is it a boon? Is it the hammer upgrade? Is it the pomegranate? Is it like the to go see Karen and spend your monies? because Daddy gave you some extra cash coming out the gate. What is your favorite room to go get? We'll start with the guest.
Okay. Well, I definitely prioritize hammers the most because those upgrades are almost always awesome no matter what you're using. But I also prioritize Sisyphus because I always have to give a nectar to my buddy Boldy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
At first, I'd say hammer, but as I'm getting further, the pomegranate, I like the upgrade to the abilities, the boost.
Mm-hmm.
But
Now, is
definitely
that-
to start, it was hammer for a while, but I
Now,
almost
when
never
you-
picked the hammer.
Now, if you have like two options and it's the pomegranate and a boon, are you going after the boon or sticking with the pomegranate?
It depends on it really.
Who it
That
is.
depends on the boons I had.
Yeah.
Like if I
Yeah.
have the boons, if I get with the spear, the jab,
The auto
special,
attack?
the one that removes the spin.
Yeah, the auto
with that
attack where you
'cause
just hold it down. Yeah.
I like that better because I hate standing still.
Yes. So do I. Bye, Matt.
I'm like,
Uh-oh.
I'm not. No, I don't feel safe doing this. I need to keep moving.
See, I'm the same way. So like,
Because I don't even like the charge spear because I feel I'm too vulnerable. I mean, it's
Yeah.
powerful, but
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer the ricochet spear.
yeah. Michaela, what about you? What is your favorite room to like seek and like find to help you make your run? So to say.
I don't really know. I guess I think more of stuff that I don't choose. I don't necessarily go after coin usually unless I really, really know I need it. Once I unlocked a certain amount of the mirror, in terms of just trying to beat Hades originally, I deprioritized darkness. So I would pick like a boon or a hammer over pretty much anything else unless it made you opt into a mini boss that you didn't necessarily have to opt into. Like if one door didn't have a mini boss on it, I would not opt it to add difficulty to the run. That's pretty much it though.
I did find with coins, I did one or two coin runs to test it. I don't feel they're very. You don't gain that many. I find I get more coins from the side hustle boon, and then not go for the coins because once you upgrade, you can trash all the furniture and everything to get. I find selling stuff if I don't really need it, but going for the coin, I'd never pick the coin over anything else because I feel it's not as.
Unless
I
it's like a
agree.
mini boss situation, and I don't want
Or
to.
I'm getting close to. I always make sure I have around 1200 when I get to Cerebus because
Jesus Christ.
Charon always sells.
I'm never anywhere near that.
Yeah, but
Charon
that's what you need
always
to get.
sells a blood for
Or a
1200.
diamond. Sometimes it's
Or
a
a
diamond.
1200.
It's a diamond. Yeah.
So if I'm close enough, I'll
The
do
diamond is
all
cheaper
5
than the
rooms.
blood.
Jesus
What?
Christ.
The diamond is cheaper than the blood. The diamond's only 1,000, and I'm
Yeah.
like, but okay.
Yeah, but the diamond is
But
mainly
it's
used
Titan
for the
blood though.
Yeah, the Titan
It
blood's
is, but
for
you can get the
upgrading
Titan
your
blood
weapons.
earlier in the game. So, like the fact that the diamond comes later, you would think it would be.
I think it's
valued more.
also you can get 2 Titan blood per run.
You can get 2 diamond.
Because you get one
you
from
do.
Hades as well as the first boss. But I
Right,
don't
and
think
the
you-
diamond always drops from the Hydra. So if you buy it, you can get 2.
Mhm.
So I think you have a choice on which one you want. Well, I guess technically you can get 3 blood per game if you buy it.
I'd
So
like to
fuck it.
amend my original statement. I also
No.
I also
Locked in.
prioritize the dual god boons.
Yes, okay, yeah,
Because I like
yeah.
getting 2 for 1, even though it's
Yeah.
like a harder fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you have to like go and pick a bot or pick a boon and then you have to fight the other ones. Like, yeah. So my pick for this is the hammers. Because like with the spear, I don't like Jason. I don't want to stand still. I'd rather have the hold down the attack button and it auto attacks for you, which is nice because you're also stun locking things more often. I like, the same thing with the bow and arrow. I don't want to have to hold down the button to fire a shot off. I just want to do like an auto shot. Oh yeah, but you can't do a charged shot. Okay, I'm fine with that. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it's not an issue to me. And I agree. I don't use with the spear, I don't use the X ability, the special ability, as much as I probably should have. And I think I mentioned it in our chat, in our podcast chat on Facebook. Like, I feel like I dodge around way too much. Like, I'm not as stationary as I should be in the game. Like, I feel like I'm over dodging, if anyone can understand what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like I'm so not afraid of damage. It's just I don't want to take damage. So I'm just like constantly moving. And I'm like, I could probably stand still and do, an X attack, do the spinning attack, or do, you know what I mean? Like, I found like recently I started using the cast like way more than I ever have. Like, I'm using the cast like all the time.
Yeah, you can look there's dash attacks. There's like a doom one that leaves it in your wake or where you land. So moving then can help.
Yeah.
But if you don't have it, if your dash is just a dash, I guess I'm constantly dashing. But if you don't have anything boosting it, it doesn't pay off as much. But I always try to get a dash like bonus.
Yeah. I'm either like trying to get like an attack, or if I get Hermes, I'm like, I like his dash where you are sturdy. Like, you're sturdy for a little bit after you dash. I like that one, or any extra dashes. Extra dashes are always nice. I always like those from Hermes.
When you get 3 extra dashes, man, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yes, I've had 3 extra dashes, and I'm just like, this is amazing. And I just recently, so like we were talking about using your not the call, the cast, where you're using, I guess A is the button if you're playing on Switch, but like I started using the one where it does the drunk Dionysus, and you're just like throwing the drunk out there, and it's like doing 200 points of damage, and then they're like taking damage from the poison, and I'm just like, I don't even have to hit you. So like, as soon as I go into a room, I'm like, boom, boom, just throwing them like crazy, and then just like, like trying to clean up the rest.
Speaking of throwing, when we were talking about terrible enemies, there's one of the chaos, it's one of the penalties that you have to last like 8 encounters for. There's one where all enemies basically throw Molotov cocktails to death, and they're just lobbing them, and you're like, no, where do I go?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being a pain in the neck. But
if you have a blade rift and you get that in Elysium with those flame wheels,
oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, and that
with the
was
little flame wheels, you gotta have Zeus's cast, and it does the chain lightning damage. You just zap, get rid of them all.
Sure, but if you have the blade rift and you have the chaos boon that's gonna send Molotovs all over the screen when things die, and you do that in Elite, scary stuff.
I do like Ares.
Scary stuff.
I do like Ares blade rift, and then like I had the modifier on where it's like when you have no casts, you do like 30 or 40% extra damage. So every time I walk into a room, I'm just like, rift, let's go. Like I automatically have like 40% extra damage. So there's too much goddamn replayability. Like, it's just, it is unbelievable. And like, it's awesome, like how you can build. Going back to like, we were talking about, like, I sometimes don't pick a boon if it goes too far off the rails of what I've already picked. Like, if I'm sitting there with, like Zeus and Ares, and I've done them, like I've picked their boons like once or twice, I'm not going to pick like Demeter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will actually pick a coin over picking Demeter, because I'm like, I'm not going to mess that up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to throw another one into that, because then I'm going to be like, all right, well, now in the next couple levels, who am I going to have to fight? You know what I mean? It's going to be like a door that's going to be like two of those 3, I should say. And you're like, I don't want to deal with that, So
All right. Well, before we go, where does this end up in your Game of the Year 2020 discussion?
Damn!
TMan?
It's a 10!
Is it in top 5, top 10? Is it part of the discussion for you?
For
Michaela?
me,
You can go
Yeah,
first.
for now it's in my top 5, but there are so many freaking games coming out in the next couple months. Who knows? But for right now, it is in my top 5. It did not displace Pyre though, as my favorite from the studio.
Okay. T-Man?
A bold statement, Cotton. Bold statement, Cotton. I like it. I like it. Okay. All right.
right now for me, it's between Final Fantasy VII Remake and this as my
Good
game of the
man.
year.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she's a fan. It's
No,
okay.
we already know Moose's opinion. Matt?
So if I were to make my list today, my game of the year has a tie at 1. And both games came out the same week. It is this and Spelunky 2, like without hesitation. Which is interesting because what was holding on to the number 1 spot for dear life all year long was Kentucky Route Zero. Because that full thing came out, and I still think that's a. I mean, I think story wise that beats just about anything I've played this year, but that is kind of just a wall of text and a point and click adventure game, barely. But Spelunky 2 and Hades are just examples that, like, I think if we were 5 years removed, we will probably be there are going to be game design programs that are teaching Hades and Spelunky 2.
Can I change the question just a little bit? Instead of
Sure.
game of the year, does this crack your top 5 roguelikes? For me, I think it is my new favorite roguelike, displacing Darkest Dungeon.
Well, I could probably make an argument to where Darkest Dungeon is not actually a roguelike.
Okay, okay, roguelike or roguelite, I don't care. Overarching genre.
Sure, Darkest Dungeon is probably not either, but that's okay. I'll let you have it.
Jesus
I'm not
Christ.
gonna
Yes, it
waste
is.
anybody's time.
Uh-oh.
Well, to answer my original question, it's in the top for games played this year. Technically, I played this when it first came out.
Early access does not count.
Right.
I played
Yeah,
early
we're
access
going
as
release.
well.
We're
Yeah,
going release. We're
All
going
right.
release.
Yeah, it's probably in the top 5.
Mhm.
As far as the roguelikes, I don't think anything could push Dead Cells because I think that really got
But
me
is it in the
into-
top 5?
Oh, yeah.
Not the number 1, yeah.
Yeah, but I think because Dead Cells kind of really got me into the whole just one more run. I don't think anything could. I mean, I'm not saying Hades is not a better game or that Dead Cells is the better game. It's
Well,
more.
it's always your first
Battlestar,
time,
but-
Jason.
Yeah, it's
That's
the first
why
time.
Bloodborne will
It's the-
always be my favorite Souls game.
Yeah, you don't have to
So,
say
you
which
know.
one is the objective best. We're asking your personal opinion. So.
Right, exactly. It's your personal
Yeah,
opinion.
I mean, Hades is in probably. It's definitely top 5 roguelike. Top 5 this game this year. It's tough for me.
I can't
but-
even remember what else came out this year. Right now.
Dude,
Neo 2 and 7 remake for me are up there, and then Demon Souls is coming. So
I
mean-
reviewed 20
Ghost.
something games and I only hated 2 of them, so it's tough.
Ghost. I gotta
Um,
get back to Ghost.
for roguelikes, I think this is definitely a 5. It's definitely a top 5 for me because of the roguelikes that I can immediately think of that are my favorites in the style. All of them do something very different, and none of them do narrative the way Hades does. So I mean, if I were, that would be what I look at. I mean, we could talk about combat, where combat's fucking stellar and it sings all the way through when everything is viable. There are plenty of runs in Spelunky where you're like, that first shot, nope, start over. That first item in Binding of Isaac, nope, starting over.
The first
I
gun
think
in
the
Neon
only-
Abyss.
Yeah, the first gun Neon Abyss, if you get that guitar one, fuck off. But this is one of those that, like, yeah, like this is definitely a 5 because there's no other one that I can think of immediately that does what it does. And yeah. So yeah, it's definitely in my top 5.
So, would you guys count Slay the Spire as a
Yes.
roguelite?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm not sure if it's my top one or not. The two of them right
That's
now are
okay.
dueling.
Top 5's
But-
okay.
I love
We're
Slay
on.
the Spire. I love
Slay
the
the
deck
Spire is
building.
great.
Yeah.
Because I would argue Hades has less, and Matt, you mentioned it earlier, there's less stories about, like, Neon Abyss, I could tell a story about all the loadout I got, the insanity. Michaela could tell a Slay of the Spire, like, a full Thorns, like, everything was one shot. Like, I
Yeah.
feel Hades has not that it doesn't have it, but it has less of that. Like, but we've talked about it. It has that story component that those other games don't necessarily have. So I feel
Yeah.
it does a lot of things really, really well and better than most. But it also, I feel like there's parts that like an insane run I showed you in Neon Abyss where I had like 1 million coins, and the more coins I had, and everything was exploding.
Yeah, the more
And it was-
damage you did, just everything
and it was
dies.
just like it just kept going, and like so I think it's tough, but yeah, I mean, Slay the Spire definitely is a roguelike, and
Yeah. I mean, and seeing it. Go ahead.
no, I'm done. No,
Go ahead.
No, you're
Please.
good.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Nope, I'm done.
Crap, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Oh, you wanted me to go ahead?
No, well, I think the more interesting thing, because like a lot of people knock roguelikes in general for random generation when it's not truly random, it's procedural because it uses a specific set of commands and boundaries. But what Hades does that's impressive is it sacrifices the emergent storytelling of a run, which is still there, but it's not as apparent as like a Spelunky or a Binding of Isaac. But it doesn't increase the amount of script while still emphasizing narrative. And I think that's the laser beam. It jumps more so than any roguelike that I can immediately think of. I'm not going to say there hasn't been one, but
Because it has that
definitely hasn't been one like this.
the one more run feeling can go both ways. Like, oh, I had a cool build, I want to try that again, or I just want to finish this run to find out what happens next when I see Persephone. Like, you can go both ways. Like, this run's not that good, but you're doing well enough, and you're like, I want to finish it to see what happens when Zagreus sees his mother again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to speak to that, the run that I beat the game with, I was like, this just fucking run's dead. And then I beat Hades, and it was like, okay, we're done. You know what I mean? Like, I rolled in to that boss fight with 2 Death Defiances and a fucking bow, and I'm like, let's go, buddy. And you know, so it is the epitome of, like, obviously, don't give up on your runs. And I've done that before. Like, I've caught myself multiple times with this game alone where it's like, okay, ideally for me, this run is trash, but I'm still going to give it my best and let's see where it goes. And then I go further than I thought I would go. You know what I mean? And so it definitely, I don't think I've had that in any other roguelike that I've played, to be honest. You know? So I think, like, they do a good job of managing their procedural generation, and they're like, hey,
Yep,
Or he can give, yeah.
I'm recording.
Okay, so Moose, I want you to start where you started your last statement. You say, and because I didn't answer it,
Oh, because I didn't answer it. This game is my game of the year and is my roguelite of all time. It's amazing. Love it. Phenomenal. Love Supergiant Games. Loved them since Bastion. And I feel this is the epitome of the type of game that they've been trying to make since they started making games. And I think they're just fucking firing on all goddamn cylinders. And they're just like nuking. Like, they're just killing it left and right. So that's my opinion on the game. Buy it. Seriously, play it on PC, buy it on Switch, or
I think
wait
it's
for
on
it.
Game Pass. I don't think you have to like. I think it's on Game Pass somewhere.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. That's why I'm saying I think, because I do not know.
It would have to be the PC Game Pass because it's not on Xbox yet. Yeah. It's the only console it's on right now is Switch. So, and I will have to say, I didn't really get to mention it, but it runs pretty fucking well on the Switch.
Yes,
like, it runs pretty good. There might be some issues here or there, like a little stuttering of the frame rate, but I thought it would be a lot worse than it was, and it's not. So they did a great job of optimizing that platform for it to be the first console for it to come out on. Because I feel like the vast majority of us in this panel have two consoles. My PS4 is my main, and my Switch is my secondary. And I pick up whatever when indie developers, much like Supergiant Games, decide to release their games on the Switch first instead of elsewhere, I'm still able to pick it up. So, but anyways, yeah, it's a great game. Play it.
Just to dovetail on you real quick, I am still firmly in Michaela's camp. Pyre is a game I like more than this, but you are 100% correct from a design perspective. Like, this is what they've been building to.
I would say I think this is the best game that they have made in terms of their goal setting and their execution. Pyre is the most unique, and it did something that I'll never forget.
Word.
I can respect that. Yeah. Cool.
I guess I have to play Pyre now.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Pyre's really good.
It is really fucking good.
It is really good.
No other game on the market is a point-and-click, first-person adventure, choice-driven narrative sports game that is basically chess mixed with basketball that's on fire. No other game.
He said point and click, and
he went into
the gameplay is mostly 3v3, like a sports match.
It's 3v3 NBA Jam, but like that one game from American Gladiators where you put the ball in like the garbage can.
Oh.
Also, it's got the best narrative, like the best narrator out of all, because all four Supergiant games have a narrator, and it's definitely less present in Hades, especially the more runs you do, the less dialogue the narrator has. So that did disappoint me a little bit, but the narrator hates you in Pyre, and it's awesome.
If you've ever wanted to play basketball against dogs to a rock soundtrack, Pyre is your game.
Okay, that sold me. Why didn't you guys say that first?
Just play the freaking game.
So you know that anime soccer game I played earlier this year?
Mm-hmm.
The boy band soccer game?
No. It's the boy band. Well, actually, that makes sense. Captain Tsubasa. Yeah, it's like that, but it's animals and people and Jordario rules.
And there's no AI. You have 3 players, and if you're not controlling one of the players, they're not moving. You have to constantly switch and manage your players, and each species moves differently. So the dog will move differently than a worm, than a giant demon, than a person. And it's all very choice driven. Your choices affect the narrative, they affect your team comp, they affect your ending, they affect the individual endings for characters, including ones that aren't even on your team, stuff like that. It's
I gotta go back and play Pyre again.
Yeah, I gotta play Pyre.
That's one of my favorites.
Yuki Tizo and Jordario, it rules. It rules.
Jody is my bitch.
She's not a bitch. You put respect on her name.
She's my bitch. I can use that word.
Okay, fine. So before we get out of here, there's 2 things I want to do. One, I want to get some final thoughts from TMan.
On Hades? Or just in general?
Sure, whatever.
I don't have any final thoughts on anything else. So, so the thing I like the most about Hades in terms of roguelikes is that it never feels like you're on a failed run. Like, One of the other roguelikes I like is Enter the Gungeon. And you can start that game and like not get the right set of keys or the right gun out of a chest, and you're like, okay, this run is kind of dead before I even get to the first boss. Whereas Hades, with the boons and the palms and all the different upgrades you can get, it never feels like you've got a bad run out of the gate. You might not get the run you were looking for,
It's
but
different.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
like you
yeah,
were
like
saying. Yeah.
I've like been like, I want to do a cast run this time, and then I just get no cast boons for a
And
while. I'm like,
melee. Yeah.
so I guess I'm doing this instead. But it doesn't feel like I'm screwed and like this is a pointless waste of time. And so I
Yeah.
think that's why I really like Hades and why I keep playing it over and over, because it just has that one more run feel, because I know I'm not going to like be like, okay, I'm putting this away now because that run sucked. So I that's the main reason I really, really like it.
Before we cut out of here, I want to do one more thing. I want you to plug Make Me a Gamer again. And tell us where we can find you.
Okay. So Make Me a Gamer, my podcast where I tell my friend about gaming news and games that I've been playing and occasionally make him play games. You can find it on iTunes and Google and other places. I've had problems with Spotify, so not there, but everywhere else. Called Make Me a Gamer. You can find me on Twitter at TMan Plays Games, and you can find the podcast Twitter at Make Me a Podcast. And yeah, that's me.
Nice.
Cool. Someone fill about 15 seconds for me, please.
Awkward silence.
Great.
Awkward silence.
Do, 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 do. You don't want me to sing. That would not be a good idea.
No. I mean, if you want, I'm not going to stop you.
No.
So before Moose takes us out with his closing line like he always does, because we weren't able to do that last week, were we? Or no, we did. He just came in at the end.
He came back.
I wanted to close. I normally open this with a song, but I wanted to close us with Eurydice's song. So I'm going to close us with farewell to all earthly remains, no burdens, no further debts to be paid. Atlas can rest his weary bones. The weight of the world falls away in time. Goodbye to all the plans that we made. Moose? Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXOD-merch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Ray Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely Queen of the Guild, always say, #Rise Above. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroute0@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter @StoryRoute0. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us, as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cool at Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at obelisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter at GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter at redxmod. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be at infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.